welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie, Texas, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the important people that make history and some that are making history this very day. And this is our history tape number 589, and we're just so glad that you're in our viewing audience because we have such an exciting presentation today. We are honored with His Honor and His Honor. And that's the first time I've ever had two His Honors on the set at one time. And this is very hard for me to do because as the Mayor Pro Tem, occasionally I get to introduce the mayor, but this time he's going to be introduced secondly because we have an outstanding young man that outranks him in etiquette as far as politics are concerned, and we're so pleased to bring to you the very wonderful Kirk England, His Honor, State Representative from the state of Texas, and we're so pleased to welcome you, Mr.
So
Kirk.
good to be here, Miss Jackson. Thank you for having us.
Yes, and you look mighty bright-eyed and clear-eyed and everything after all of the holidays and everything that's happened to you. I know I'm going to get back with you in a few minutes, but may I introduce your father?
Well, we'll let you do that, you bet.
And I'm going to call him the very honorable Charles England, the mayor of Grand Prairie, Texas, because he is so splendid, and we're glad to have you on the set today, young man.
Thank you. It's always fun to be on your show. Thank
Well,
you.
it's wonderful. I'm glad to see you smiling when you find someone that's outranking you on the set. Isn't that unusual?
It's pretty, I'm
pretty obvious,
honored to
isn't
be
it?
here to get to,
Yeah.
next to the state rep. That's,
Yes, that's uptown, isn't it?
It is. You bet.
Yes. Well, we're just so pleased that y'all are both here. I'd like to begin by talking about 2006 that is slowly slipping away, isn't it? And I'll begin with you, Your Honor. Tell us about 2006. What has been the excitement of your life and your family, and talk to me about 3 or 4 minutes about the real Kirk England in 2006 in Grand Prairie, Texas, and the changes that have come about just in this year.
You bet. Well, when you ask that question to me, it's probably always going to start with family. And, been a lot of things happened, with my family specifically in the last year. But when I talk about family, I'm talking about my 2 boys and my wife, and some of the history there. But a big change in our lives was Marcy, my wife, and I became empty nesters this year when our youngest, Sam, left the end of May. He received an appointment to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, left in May to go off to his SWAB summer experience and intro to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. And we finally got to get him back in Grand Prairie for Thanksgiving. So that was a long time and a big change in our lives to have Sam leave. And his older brother, I've got 2 children, Charlie and Sam, and Charlie, who's a junior at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, we've talked about before, was already there, but that's been a big change. Of course, also, so many positive things in our life in 2006, but and I hope positive for Grand Prairie. I believe it is, and I had an election we talked about as the state representative. This year has been busy for us. We've dealt with 2 elections this year, and
yes,
so
you have.
That's been a very busy time, and but what a great experience. I mean, as an elected official in Grand Prairie, to represent your hometown is just such an honor, and it's been exciting to go through that and then to get to serve, and I just look forward to getting to go to the ability to go to Austin and represent Grand Prairie the way it deserves to be represented. And
now, were you
a lot of work.
Were you sworn in 2 times in 2006?
I was actually sworn in after the special election in February the election. I was sworn in March, and then with the new election, the most recent election in November, I won't be sworn in until January the 9th. So that's just around the corner.
Just once during 2006.
That's right.
But you're getting ready to have that to happen to you one more
You
time.
bet. And how exciting, and going through that, and the swearing in ceremony earlier this year. I had a pretty large group from Grand Prairie that was able to be there.
Yes.
And sworn in by the former state representative Bill Arnold was actually
wonderful young man
who swore me in, and our local pastor from Grand Prairie traveled to Austin to do the introduction prayer for the ceremony, and it was just a pretty special day.
Isn't that exciting?
Sure, absolutely.
What did Marcy think about marrying a little wonderful young man from Grand Prairie, Texas, when you went away to college out of Grand Prairie or out of our area, and now she's married to a state representative?
Well, I think it's been exciting for her too. It's been a little more of an adjustment for her, and again, you can relate a lot to that, how spouses, how important they are to your success.
Yes.
And Marcy has just been an absolute trooper, and I think she's enjoying the experience also. It's not what she expected, not what she had visioned 25 years ago when we got married.
Yes.
But it's been a good situation.
Now, your two sons are quite different.
Absolutely, you know
Now,
them well.
I want you to know that I interviewed both of them when they were Boys of the Month from South Grand Prairie High School. And that was an exciting adventure to get them both interviewed. One of them is a statesman, sort of, and becoming a statesman. But the other one was so fun to interview. Sam was just wonderful.
Sure.
And now that he's moved out of your place, hasn't your household changed considerably
It is
with
a lot
Sam
quieter.
gone?
Absolutely. You know him well, and he's the comedian, and he's the one that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And,
Yes, he does.
And it's a little quieter around the England household these days.
Yeah.
But we're so proud of them, and we get to talk to them a lot. Thank goodness for technology and cell phones and internets, and so we get to communicate with them a lot. But it's still, as you know, quite different not having them at the house. But here we are in the holiday season. They're both back, and they've reminded us what it's like to have two boys. And
Well, have they reminded you that they're in charge?
Oh,
Your life has to be formed around them when they're here.
absolutely. And of course, they'd be sitting to the left of me. They're
Yeah.
really, I think, their grandfather and my dad would tell you, we really rank them certainly ahead of both of us. They're Department of Homeland Security and,
Yes.
officer candidates. And so, we say yes sir to them, when we need to.
You bet. Now, Honorable Mayor, I know that things probably have not changed quite as much for you as it has for the Honorable Kirk. But tell me how, I know that Janice really adores all of her grandchildren, but she's had watch care over these two a little bit closer probably than all of your other grandchildren. And how have things changed for you, knowing full well that those two boys are up in Connecticut? For crying out loud, that is where it's cold.
That's right, and I can tell you that we've been flying a lot more to the East Coast in the last 3 years than we ever thought we would. So we get to go see them on Parents Weekend. We kind of act like we're parents and go tag along as grandparents. We get to go see them in a couple of football. Made 2 trips this year, but of course we miss those guys so much. They kept us entertained still do. But when they were in high school and at South Grand Prairie, it was fun to watch them grow up and be leaders at the school, and we're so proud of them. And now at the academy, I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Yes,
and
it is.
We're very, very proud of them.
I know that several years ago when the Rockettes came to Grand Prairie to Nokia Theater, and as the mayor, you were going to welcome all of these beautiful girls, and you got off hunting somewhere up in Kansas or somewhere, and didn't get back in time to greet all of those girls. And I was your mayor pro tem at that time, and I got to go and walk out on the stage with those beautiful statuesque girls, beautiful. And when he got back, I told him, I said, Mayor, you missed all of those girls. He said, well, I'm not ever going to do that again. The next time they come, and if I'm still mayor, I am going to be there. And do you know what happened this year? When the Rockettes came back this year, and I just happened to be mayor pro tem again, did you know I had to stand in for him because he preferred this wonderful trip to Connecticut to see a ball game. And he had already promised me he would never do it again. But you know how times change and how things change for you. When your grandkids get in there, Mayor, that is the most important thing to you that there is, your heritage, and that's your children and your grandchildren. But I had to tell that publicly.
Sure.
Because he wasn't gonna miss it next time.
Well, it was the Coast Guard Academy had a great season this year in football,
Yes.
and got in the playoffs and in their conference, and we just felt like we needed to be there. Got to take his two cousins, Clint and Clayton, had never
Yes.
been to the academy, and
Yes.
they went with Janice and I, and Kirk and Marcy were there, so it was a great weekend. But I'll miss getting introduced to the Rockettes, I can tell you that, and maybe next time when they come back.
Maybe next time when they
Right.
come back.
That's right.
He's going to do that next time. He's going to run for mayor again, and then the Rockettes come year after next, and we'll have another party. Now,
We'll give him another chance.
give him one more chance.
That's right.
Now, Mayor, having two young men at the academy, has that changed your attitude about things that are happening in the world today? Are you afraid for them?
Well, certainly, I don't know that afraid's the right word, but certainly concerned about
Yes.
but those guys. Charlie will be out next year, and
Yes.
and be active duty as a young Coast Guard officer, and Sam just a couple years behind. But I'm concerned about those guys
All of
as well
them.
as all of them. I mean,
Yes.
it's a tough time in the world right now. And am I concerned? Yes. I mean, I'm just glad I'm mayor, not president.
Yes.
When that's an awesome responsibility, and I don't know, what's going to happen, but we think about them.
We keep him in our prayers, don't we?
You bet we do, and all the young men and women that are serving this country so proudly. It's and when you got two in the Coast Guard, it even brings it a little closer to home. And but we think about them often.
And I think the mayor, talked about it too, and it's just the pride for all those young men
Yes.
and young women,
Yes.
and all of the services, and I know most of us all try to remember and stay, connected and appreciate, what they're doing, but it's just so important and so big,
Yes,
what
it is.
they do every day, and even if they're not overseas, even if they're not in the Middle East right now,
Yes.
it takes, all of the services and all of the training and all of the bases all over the world, and
they're
what they
from
do
everywhere.
for us, absolutely,
Yes,
and
yes.
and
We get the greetings from the troops in Japan and all of these, Cambodia and all of these far-flung places. But
sure,
let's don't talk about those things, and let's talk about you two. Here you are, two aspiring, one an entrepreneur, a businessman, and the other one that was following in his father's footsteps. How is it to run a business and be a state representative and be a mayor, and it takes so much time out of your workability? How are you getting along?
well, it's tricky,
working.
It
Yes.
is a delicate balance to
Well, you don't
to
make
try to
enough
do
money
it
at
all.
the state to really make up for the loss that you take from the time you're away from business. And is that okay?
Both of our political jobs, they're
Yes.
they're not very high paying,
Let's know that.
So we certainly, and again, the same with you. We don't
Yes.
do this for financial reasons at
Yes.
all. Quite the opposite. You know,
Yeah.
we're willing to sacrifice a little bit on the business side to be able to serve. But that was an easy decision for me to make. And
Was that an
and,
easy decision for you to make, Mayor,
Yes,
when
yeah.
all of a sudden you've turned the business practically over to Kirk, and then now he's a public servant? Does that make it, you have to get out and hustle
Well,
insurance more?
probably that means I'm not going to be able to go to the lake quite as early in the week as
That
I'd
is
like
right.
to go. And
Uh-huh.
but we're both blessed. I've got a great staff.
Oh, I know you have.
And Ken Murray, that former head coach at Grand Prairie High School,
Yes.
is my office manager, and we've both got a good staff. So sometimes I think maybe they operate just as well, if not better, when I'm not there. But because they take care of the business very well, and if I'm not in the office, I'm close by, and so we don't let our business suffer, and we don't because of our staff. We're just real blessed to have.
real team effort.
Good,
You bet.
good. So working together. Now, let's change. All we've been talking about was business
Mhm.
and children and family. Now let's get down to the thing that I really want to hear you all talk about, and that's name me 2 things, Mayor, or 3 things that were done during 2006, not what you project for 2007, but name me a couple of 3 things that you're real proud of for Grand Prairie, Texas, because as the mayor you have been outstanding.
Well, I think the thing that maybe I'm most excited about is, and it's not going to be completed this year. In fact, it's caused a little turmoil in the city while it's going on. But to every day to drive from North Grand Prairie to South Grand Prairie and see 161 being built right
Yes.
before my eyes, and seeing it make so much progress, and to know what the impact that's going to be, a positive impact for the city, and for traffic and for growth and for business, and I just get excited every day when I see that. And of course, I mean, we've got things at the lake to see what's about to happen out there is exciting. The opening of Camp Wisdom, the widening of Camp Wisdom from 360 to Carrier Parkway is just going to have such a major impact on the development in the lake area. It's already planned out. They're building a huge new shopping area with a Super Target and Home Depot and several 5 or 6 restaurants at Camp Wisdom and 360. That's on the Grand Prairie side of Camp Wisdom and 360, by the way, which is going to be really great for those people that live out by the lake. We've built, a lot of people don't realize, we've built another city out on the peninsula.
Yes.
We've built another Cleburne
Yes.
or Waxahachie. A town that size is already there, and so to see all the retail and all the growth and take place there, that's exciting. And the fact that we're about to pay the racetrack off and pay it off some 13 years early, that's something I take great pride in. And the fact that the council, and we've hired an architect now to pay attention to the downtown Grand Prairie, which I think has so much possibility. And
Yes.
we're going to start that with the refurbishing of the Uptown Theater, and those plans are done, and we've already started the construction on that. It's going to be a beautiful facility, and to remind us of our history and our heritage. It's going to, and for the arts people, for the performing arts, it's going to be a great asset. We've grown up now. I mean, we're a city of almost 160,000 people, and the people of Grand Prairie deserve something like the Uptown's going to be for the theater group, the performing arts, to have a place to have their shows. I think it'll be a great boost for downtown Grand Prairie. I can really see a lot of things happening, like happened in Granbury and like happened in Grapevine, those kind of things. I think we have to look forward to downtown.
You have a very unusual city, geographically divided into, not evenly, but into 4 counties, where you have to deal with 4 county judges, 4 health departments, 4 law officers, all of these different things in all of these different counties. And when you sent me recently to Mansfield, you really sent me to dedicate 3 schools of Grand Prairie people that live in Mansfield but live in Grand Prairie, but their school is in Mansfield.
That's right.
I dedicated 3 Mansfield schools in Grand Prairie on your behalf, and there was one school that was in Mansfield and in Mansfield School District. So it is just, you have such a unique job.
Well, we do. I mean, we've got, what I think maybe 5 school districts: Cedar Hill, Mansfield, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Irving. So we're really dealing with 5 school districts within the city limits of Grand Prairie, and so it is a challenge.
It
and
really is.
And for people to be able to identify really what their hometown is. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember we had a challenge when people out on the peninsula, those homes were being built and they had a Mansfield mailing address. Well,
Yeah.
thanks to Congressman Martin Frost, we were able to
Got that changed.
get that changed to Grand Prairie. I mean, the kids went to school in Mansfield. They had a Mansfield address. They didn't know they lived in Grand Prairie. But so our identity is important to me, and we got that changed. And we need to do things that bring people. There's a lot of people in Grand Prairie that don't even know where City Hall is.
That is true.
They never come north of I-20. So we got to give them a reason to do that. And I think the refurbishing and restoration of downtown Grand Prairie will bring a lot of folks, not only from Grand Prairie, but from the surrounding towns, to see what a great city we have.
That's wonderful. Now, for the future, for 2007, that sounds like a big number.
Sure.
And are you going to forecast anything for us? Now, the mayor has told us some of the things that are happening in the city. Do you have some real wonderful things that you would like to see happen or be at least considered?
Well, it's going to be exciting. Headed to Austin in January for the 80th session of the state legislature.
Yes, isn't
And
that exciting?
January to May is when we're in session.
Yes.
And we'll be there, and it's exciting. I tell you, it's exciting to know that we're going there after really a pretty landmark session in April and May, where I think a lot of positive things happened and really set up this upcoming session to see a lot more positive things. Positive because it was a real feel of finally getting on track to some bipartisan approach to what's going on in Texas and in the legislature, and I look forward to that continuing. And the special session was about education and taxes,
Yes.
and 2 things that you can relate to, and 2 things that were real important to me, and primarily is education. And we've got a good thing here in this district and in Grand Prairie, and I'm so proud of those schools. The question you asked the mayor was, what has gone on in 2006, and for me personally, it was becoming even more connected to what's happening in the Grand Prairie Independent School District.
Yes.
And really being in those schools and visiting with those principals and with those teachers and watching the students. I sat in on probably 15, 20 different classes at different schools over the last 6 months, and to see the quality of the teachers, the quality of the educators, the administrators, and the students. There's not a harder working group. I would put them up against, any kids, any teachers, any administrators, anywhere, and that's a positive, good feeling, regardless of sometimes what tax scores and aptitude
Yes.
tests show or indicate. We're doing good things in Grand Prairie, and we're going to continue it, and I think we're going to look forward to the state continuing to commit to public education as we should and we better, and through funding dollars and through support of teachers and teacher salaries, and we're gonna keep on that track, and it'll be interesting for the people to watch.
Yes.
Over the next 6 months, going into the legislature with about a $15 billion budget surplus.
Yes.
That's nice to have.
Yes.
I know as a city official, you certainly like those budget surpluses, don't you?
Yes, as Mr. Don Johnson, who does this television show for us, said when he was in Austin for a little while,
Right.
he said they didn't have any money, and that was a bad time
That's
to
a
be in
bad time.
Austin.
That's rough.
And now you have it good, but when you went to Austin this last time, not the one that you were just reelected to,
Right.
you had a nice office in Ray Allen's office. What are they going to do with you now?
I'll tell you what, things have changed a little bit in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
We've moved now.
You
And
are moved.
I went down a couple of floors, and I went through a wing out into the annex, down a hall, left about 100 yards down another hall, and it's going to be a little more difficult for my constituents to find me.
But that's
in the
all right.
capital of these, that's all right. They'll know we're there.
Yes, they will
And,
know you're there.
But we moved down into the annex, but we're set up there now and ready to go. And I lost my parking place on the Capitol Drive, and I'm now down in the underground parking garage.
But that's all right, too.
But that's okay too. And
Yes.
I've got a new seat on the House floor, but I'm around a lot of good people that are have been mentors to me in the short period of time, and we're going to work with them and get good things, accomplish some good things.
That is wonderful.
You bet.
Now we have about 2 minutes left on our interview. I want to give the mayor 1 minute to round up.
Sure.
And then I'm going to come back to you and let you thank all of the people
You
that
bet.
are important to you in your newly found career.
You bet.
And Mayor, is there anything you'd like to say now as we wind down this thing?
Well, it's been a good year
Yes.
for Grand Prairie. I'm grateful. We're we may not have as much money as the state has, but I can tell you we're in sound financial. The city coffers are in good shape, and
you wouldn't let
we're
us
paying our
raise
bills.
taxes at all.
That's right. No tax increase, but I said earlier, a lot of good things are going to happen in '07. The track's going to be paid off. We're going to build. Not only we're going to do the uptown, we're going to build a first-class farmers market
Yes.
downtown there where the gazebo is
Yes.
at 2nd and Main Street, West Main and 2nd. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think bring a lot of people to. Not going to be quite as large as the Dallas farmers market, but it's going to be
It'll
as
be
nice,
nice.
and it's going to be. I think people will really enjoy that. We're going to get a lot of things started out the park out on Lake Ridge at the lake at Joe Pool. We're going to build a new dog park. We're going to get plans going for a new senior citizen facility in this city.
And I've got to cut you off there.
Okay.
You
That's
got
a good place to stop because
when you mentioned the senior citizens, that's good. But now I need 1 minute for you to thank anyone or say anything
Well,
you would like to.
Really, I mean, we talked about family and they've been so good, but I just am so proud of and thank so much all the different groups
Yes.
in Grand Prairie, and I mean, we take that for granted sometimes, whether it's the Grand Prairie United Charities groups and groups like those, and the Brighter Tomorrows and the Lifeline Shelters and the Chamber of Commerce,
the
and
people that care.
the people who are active, who have really engaged in this community. And sometimes people just wonder, how do I do that? Just pick up the phone, just talk to those people, and because they're doing so many good things in this community.
That's right.
And so proud of them.
Well, I'm proud of both of you all, and I hate to run this down. We should have had an hour to talk with both of you all because it's been so exciting for the people of Grand Prairie to get to know you all better, and we know what a good job that you're both doing. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do, and that we document it correctly. And I thank these two your honors very much for allowing us to interview them on this magic day toward the end of 2006. Thank
Thank you,
you
Ms.
all
Jackson.
so much.
thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Y'all are precious.
Thank you.